My thing is that if you go by Charlie XCX's definition of being a brat and Kamala is brat, I am going to need to see some more brat behavior from Kamala before she just fully embraces the brat label. I mean, I want to see her snort some lines. I want to see her send nudes to Putin. So Brat Summer Essentials, according to Charlie, are, quote, a pack of cigs,
okay,
a Bic lighter,
yeah, duh,
and a strappy top with no bra.
Yeah, okay.
So politics aside, think whatever you want of Kamala. If Kamala is going to change the Twitter banner to Kamala is brat, I want to see that bitch tits out, strappy bra, Bic lighter. I want to see her like that Ben Affleck meme where he's just like so fucking hungover and depressed from probably a night of drinking and partying, and he's just on his stoop in Soho, just fucking lighting a cig and just smoking it into the universe.
Looks more terrible and gruesome than his injuries, and I was like not even bandaging this thing, because you got to air it out. He was purposely bandaging it with like a sanitary pad, like the largest thing he could put on his ear to really like sell the injury. But I was like, I'm seeing like there's no leakage, there's no blood. And now I just saw a headline that said Donald Trump, like, former prez, all ears, no bandage, from TMZ. I don't even see a scrape. I mean, that's how you know it was tiny. And tiny little nicks can bleed a lot. I'm not doubting. He definitely got nicked by something.
If I got shot anywhere in my body, and I mean, even if I got shot to the point where the bullet passed by me, but the force of the bullet still scratched my body, I would be in a walker the next day selling the shit out of it. People are like, you didn't even get shot in the leg. Why do you have a walker? And I'm just like, I no questions. No questions. I would just be everyone within a 10-mile radius of me would know that I was shot.
Yeah.
Which is the opposite of what you do for street cred. If you want cred on the streets,
you keep it moving.
You get shot in the chest and then you go back to your job at Target the next day.
Yes. And there are people that do that, actually.
You're like, Brandon, what happened to you yesterday? You were out for the afternoon and then you're back this morning, and he's like, oh yeah, I was driving through Taco Bell and a stray bullet winged me in the shoulder. No big deal though. I'm back on the Target racking. I'm slinging clothes. Got to pay those bills. And I had some thrills because when a bullet comes that close, it can take you out for good.
Yeah, it I imagine is kind of, well, you know what? I was going to say it's life-changing, but then I don't think like that many things. In some sense, I think everything is life-changing, and then in other senses, I feel like nothing is.
Yeah.
Like ultimately, he was quite literally at a golf course the next day. Which is just what he would have did anyways. Like nothing altered about what he did with his life. But you would think it would be life-changing to be like, to see the photo. First of all, somebody did actually get their head like blown off. I mean, not just the shooter, like a victim actually died.
The firefighter that jumped on his family.
Yeah.
And then he
so
took
I'm
the
like,
bullet
you
through
would
the head.
think that you would be like, I need to take like just some time, like to not do events or some shit. I just need to process some things. Like, no, not Trump. He was right back at it.
I'm trying to think if I got shot in the ear or if I just got shot in a near fatal spot, what would my next day look like? Because I would like to think that I would get on the phone and I would FaceTime my entire family. I'd FaceTime second, third, fourth cousins. I would see someone on the street that just looked like me genetically and say, we might be family. I don't know. I have zero fucking idea. You just have blonde hair and light eyes. I just got shot and I feel like I should tell you just in case we're related. I would like to think I'd have an existential moment like that.
Yeah.
But in reality, I could see myself waking up the next day and being like, well, back on the grind.
Exactly.
I'm just editing audio files at 9:42 in the morning the day after I get shot. I'm like back in the pod seat, back in the studio.
I don't know if Trump like thinks that intellectually though, like that deep. Whereas like I think, yeah, for someone like me and maybe yourself, we are like, should we, you wonder about like, how would I react? Like I've thought about it already. I mean, from the last pod, we know I've got crazy fears. And like, so I've just thought about like, what would happen if I did get shot and lived, and I think, yeah, I would definitely use that as a story for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But I do think it would change. I mean, if it was a bad shooting, like, yeah, you're going to be in the hospital for a little bit.
Yeah.
Then I'd get out and like, I'm not doing shit for a while. Like, I just got shot. Like, come on.
I could see it going that way where you take time off or you kind of go back into your routine right after.
Yeah.
I could also see myself going the other way, which is I get shot, I'm close to death. Mm-hmm. And if you go through traumatic experiences, there is a part of your brain that craves the adrenaline from that experience. So I'm getting Ubers to East New York at 2:42 in the morning, just walking around.
Yeah.
I'm getting fake tattoos on my face just to make gang members think I'm making fun of them. And I'm just walking down the street.
Yeah.
And I'm just asking, like, where's Big Rico at? I heard he wants to fucking step to me. And they're like, there's no Big Rico in this hood.
You only wear wife beaters from now on.
Exactly. Yeah. I have 2 gold teeth, just like one random one up top, one on bottom.
I would give you a teardrop tattoo.
I wouldn't want it unless I earned it. Because one is 3 bodies, right?
I don't know.
Would you go on the spree with me to get the bodies before the teardrop tattoo?
I would go on the spree to find your shooter.
Yeah.
And that would be 1 body.
Yeah.
The other 2, you got to handle on your own.
Yeah. I guess, like, who could you... Maybe I would... How would I get bodies without actually getting bodies? Because obviously I want people to deserve it.
Go to the Hudson and just pull a couple out.
Oh my God, you're a genius. You're a hood genius.
I know. I'm from Baltimore.
I would have the meeting with the leader of the hood, and he goes, "Hey, we saw you walking around at 3 a.m. You have the teardrop. We don't think you got the bodies to prove it. Mm-hmm. Meet us at the pier or at your fucking head." And then we go into the harbor.
Easy.
We scuba dive. We don't even have scuba dive. We're snorkel gear. We have like snorkel gear we brought to like Rockaway Beach.
Yeah.
We just like stole someone's snorkel gear and then we just go down and bring up just bloated, like obviously bloated bodies that have been dead for years. Yeah, just like half skeleton, half bodies. We just lay them on the pier. We're like, this is it.
Yeah.
These are my bodies fresh this afternoon.
Tell me they're not.
Don't get too close. You're going to throw up, but I'm telling you this afternoon.
Yeah.
And Big Rico's like, okay, Holmes.
Yeah. They're like, no, that's definitely...
Those are definitely not
they've been dead
you,
for...
Holmes. That was not you. Boom, and then I'm just dead.
Come on, man. We tried. We got to have some credit for trying.
Yeah. So speaking of violence, I did have... I wouldn't even call it a story. It was just a moment that involved a sword, like a samurai sword.
All right.
And so I went to get omakase last night.
What is that?
It's a sushi style experience where the omakase chef brings you out 1 piece at a time. And I think we had 15 or 20 pieces.
Torturous almost. Like
it's good because it comes out fast. Okay. And each one is very filling.
I'm like,
but so it's
I
not.
Just pop one in. I'm like, where's the next?
Exactly. It's like M&Ms. So it's not a sushi roll, like the circle roll. It's the rice on bottom with the fish curved over the sashimi. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're decently sized rolls.
Yeah.
Or decently sized pieces. There was even 1 piece that was salmon with foie gras on top of it, which is the duck liver. Okay. Tasted really good, but it's filling is what I'm trying to say. Like I didn't leave super hungry. And so I'm at the omakase and I'm there with my girlfriend and we're sitting across the counter and there's 2 like legit like swords that you could pick up and you would see in a ninja movie where someone fucking like they go to kill you and they raise the sword up and then the other
like
ninja's
Kill Bill, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And the other guy's quicker, so he just goes right through your chest from the ground. And you're like that long.
And then like blood comes out your mouth.
Exactly. And just
gotcha. Yeah. I'm familiar with that.
So like that. And the sword was sitting there for, I'm just looking at it. Like, he's cutting sushi.
It looks shiny.
And he's using it actually to cut some of the fish just super fast. And I'm downing sake. I'm just getting more and more lit. And eventually I'm like, how long do you sharpen the sword for? Like, what's the deal with the short sharpening? Sword sharpening. That's a good tongue twister. Sharpening.
That's what you actually said after your fifth sake shot.
Exactly. Yeah. It was because he cut my tongue out with the samurai sword as I was asking it.
Yeah.
How is this? So I'm looking at the samurai sword and I say, sir, what do you do to sharpen this sword? What's the process like? And he speaks broken English, Asian accent. And he just goes, 10,000 for sword, something along those lines. He just goes 10,000, and I go, like 10,000 times, and I don't think he understood what I said. And he goes, yeah, 10,000. I'm like, holy shit! And so I'm picturing this guy just sitting in a dark room, like Batman, but for omakase chefs, where he's just like in a cave sharpening the sword, getting ready to like go out in the world.
Rock.
Yeah, exactly.
All night.
Like getting ready to avenge his ancestors. And then the owner of the restaurant, who speaks way better English than the chef, which is fine, he comes over to me and he's like, no, it's a 10,000 grade stone. He doesn't do it 10,000 times. So like there's different stones he used to sharpen knives. And so when he was saying 10,000, he was talking about the grade of the stone. And I thought he was talking about like 10,000 times. And the owner was like, no, it's the stone. He doesn't sit there. He's not like sitting in a cave with Ra's al Ghul over his shoulder being like, you're going to avenge your family when you grow up. You're going to move to America and you're going to serve the nation omakase until you get to the people who kill your family. And then you're going to plunge the samurai sword through them as they're eating your omakase. It was not that situation. But I just thought, because in my head, I was sitting there for 2 minutes thinking that this guy was like, after he's done,
night.
After he's done serving, he just goes home. Just
because I get that, because you were probably watching him, like you got that about his character, his ambiance. You were like, he's a focused man. He probably does do that.
He was very focused. I wanted to call him out because he would cheers us. So he had his own cup of sake, and it's, that small sake cup. And we had the same thing, and we were filling it up to the brim. And when he would say cheers, we would tap his glass, the chef's glass, and we'd, do the thing and down the shot. And then the first 2 times he did it, I thought he was taking the whole shot because I wasn't paying attention. I was like, oh, that's really cool. The chef is drinking with us. Then the 3rd time he does it, I realize he taps the table and he takes a fucking baby sip, like the most pussy sip.
He can't be drunk on the job, Zach.
But he did it.
Not with those 10,000 grade sharpened knives around.
I agree. But the way he did it discreetly, because he kind of bent down a little bit.
It felt like a lie.
It felt like he was trying to do it quick, so I didn't see it. And I finally caught him, and I made eye contact with him a second, and I felt his soul feel like, I know that I'm now a fraud.
He thought he could just do that in America, but not with you. Not with you there.
Imagine if you took a shot and like you set it up, like let's take shots.
He couldn't do that in his home culture, I feel. That would be a sign of disrespect. If he thought he could get away with it with just these little Americans, but not with Zach.
No, not with me. He cannot, if you're trying to take a baby shot on my watch.
Not with Zach.
I'll tip it back into your throat for you. I'll push the bottom of the glass back, and then I'll tip it back, and then you'll probably be like, why is the stranger touching the bottom of my glass? That's so weird.
No biggie.
Also, I'm an alcoholic. This isn't even a shot glass. This is just a glass of water, and that's when I'm like, okay, my bad. I didn't mean to do that. But,
sorry about that.
Yeah, but this guy was trying to hide the fact that he wasn't getting lit with us, and I just took a little bit of offense to it because I was getting lit, and I called him out, and I said, with my eyes, I was like, "You're a great chef, unbelievable chef, delicious sashimi.
But you're a fucking liar.
But you're a fucking fraud." And he got that with my eyes, and so maybe he went behind the counter after we were done serving, and he had to commit seppuku for dishonoring his culture by fake drinking, because the Japanese go hard.
No, I know.
They go hard as fuck.
So have you watched the show on Hulu? I think I talked to you about it. What the fuck was this show called? It's on Hulu.
Is it the sumo show? The sumo wrestling one?
No, hold on. Oh, Shogun.
Shogun, yeah. I have not seen it.
You need to watch it. It's graphically, like visually, it's stunning. I implore anyone to watch it. It is not always in English. Some of it is, because like the gist of the story is, that some of the first Englishmen arrive in Japan. So it's like partially in Japanese, partially in English, but it's just visually so stunning. And yeah, it's obviously set in the past. So yeah, really cool. Like it follows Japanese culture, especially in the era of the Shogun.
Yeah.
Impeccably. So I knew what you meant when you said seppuku.
Seppuku, yeah.
Yes, when they like kill themselves.
Yeah.
Because they're like, I'm a disgrace, or like, this is what my leader wants.
Yeah, I know that's a thing that Japanese generals used to do.
Yeah.
Where if they were getting taken over, let's say their army was just fucked.
Yeah.
And instead of trying to escape, they just fucking
and
then the guy behind them would cut their head off, and fucking that's how they go out.
Japanese like culture that goes really hard. I can't imagine like stabbing myself. It's one thing to shoot yourself, because I couldn't do that either, because I'm too afraid. I would never do that. But that is like at the end kind of a push of a button.
Yeah.
Stabbing yourself like through the chest. Yeah. Wow.
I think it's through the stomach and
it's kind of like the sternum or whatever. I don't know what area that is. But yeah, it's like below your rib cage.
Yeah. Do you think there was a general that tried to commit seppuku and he tried to stab himself and fall on it, but somehow he missed and it went through the side?
I think they
had to take it out and do it again. He's like, oh fuck, I changed my mind. And they're like, no, you started. You got to finish it. You got to fall on your sword. And he's like, all right, fine. And then oh shit, I missed again. And it's just like the longest death ever.
They don't put that in the TV shows. So I've not seen that. Yeah. But you know what? Probably.
They're like, seppuku, take 42 and action. Oh god. Oh fuck.
Wow. That's so shout out to that show.
Yeah.
And also, I didn't know.
I'm gonna check it out. It's been on my list for a while.
Yeah, you should. It was enjoyable. It's definitely pretty action packed, but it's mostly a historical show. So, it's for the ladies out there. I wanted more romance. There's only just enough. It's not an abundance. That's not the point of the story.
Seppuku could be romantic if you're doing it in response to a breakup. Imagine if you broke up with somebody and they go, I don't want to live on. All I want to do.
I feel like that might have happened in the show. I felt like I needed to commit seppuku by the end of the show because I was just like a little bit distraught.
You'll be able to in the future. They'll have the VR seppuku with the intestinal vibration plates where it just makes you feel like you're getting stabbed in the stomach. You'll be able to do it in the future.
Yeah.
Like a play along seppuku.
Yeah.
Ages 5 and up.
But the sword just is one of those that it like retracts when you...
Yeah.
When it just like goes in. I think there are like fake swords that do that shit.
Yeah. Hopefully. I mean, you would hope. Unless it's an Alec Baldwin sword situation where they accidentally leave a real sword on the table. The guy's like, oh, fuck. It did not go back. It did not retract. It went all the way through.
Because a real sword like that is super sharp. Like it's going to cut through my arm like butter.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is pretty amazing. I think if I could go back in time, I think I would want to learn how to use a sword like that. Not like a medieval sword, because that seems heavy as fuck, but like a Japanese, like quick, nimble, sharp as fuck. That would be like my weapon of choice.
I could see you being like a light on your feet samurai warrior.
Yeah.
Just
that would be a dream.
People underestimate you because you have a slender frame. Mm-hmm. And it's also hidden too, because back in the day you'd be wearing the robes. Mm-hmm. So they could see that your frame is more slender, but they can't see what you're holding. And then if someone goes up to you and tries to fight, you just pull the two swords out like from under your robe, and then you do all the I don't know. This is what
I don't know, but
is. Yeah.
I'll learn. I'll practice. Yeah. What's your weapon of choice? Like, if you're thinking more along the lines of like not modern day.
Not modern day?
Yeah, like not an assault rifle, you know?
Okay, so I'm not very precise, but I think I'm stronger than the average person my size. That's like 6 foot, 185. I think just from baseball days and keep up with working out, my strength would be strength, but also like the rotation from baseball. So probably a blunt object, like a medieval bat with the spikes. Maybe an axe or something.
What about those things that are like, it's like the ball and chain and you like swing it around?
That would be fucking
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, so I just finished a book, and if we don't want to go on a whole tangent about it, I'll just make it quick, but it's called Chain Gang All-Stars, and it's about a future where people in prison, there's a league where instead of spending your life in prison, if you get sentenced to the life in prison, you can choose to fight gladiator style, but it's futuristic.
Okay.
And so it's about these chain gangs, which they call them, that all fight against each other. It's 1-on-1, 2-on-2 matches in these futuristic gladiator arenas, and you get assigned a weapon. So there are people in the book that have fucking like the chain spiked ball that you throw. There's the woman who's like the two beasts in the book. It's two women, Thurwar and Stax, and they have like fucking hammers and like axes and shit.
Yeah.
And I could see like maybe sometime in the future I'll actually get to test it out if I get locked up. You know, maybe if I catch a couple bodies.
Yeah.
And then they say, look, you got life in prison, or you could fight in the arena. I say, I'm going to fight in the arena. And then I think I would, like, gun to my head, literally, or fight in the arena. I think I would go like a bat, but it had an axe on one side.
Yeah.
So like axe on the back of the bat, and so I could flip it around for like the kill shot, or have the blunt side where I could just fucking like beat someone. I think that would be.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I feel safe with a bat as well. And that's like our softball, baseball pass, like coming out. I feel like I know how to hit. I know how to swing a bat. I know what to do with a bat.
In my mind, if someone broke into my apartment and I had to use something to get them out, it would be with a bat. Like if someone,
I feel the same way.
Like, because it's like if you get
I'm about to hit his skull into center field. That's all I gotta say.
100%.
Like it's gone. I'm home run, grand slam. It's over.
If you kill shot someone in one swing, if they break into your house, do you pimp it? Like if you see them just drop, do you fucking toss the bat?
I'm flipping the bat.
Yeah, you toss the bat and you're just like, let's fucking go.
Chanting to the couch, but it's like just my partner, not the dugout.
Yeah, you do it. You do a little lap around your apartment, like you're doing the bases, and then you touch home plate. You look up to the ceiling. You're just like, thank you, God, thank you.
Yeah.
You touch your chain like one of the Dominican players, just like kisses his fat cross.
Yeah.
You run back to the dugout and you're like, fuck, I should probably clean this up.
Yeah.
Call the cops.
Yeah.
But
these are dreams
that's your choice
that we think about.
Yeah. So what are you getting into this week?
Well, like just like what we're discussing, there are certain people that are faster, stronger, smarter. They know how to compete. And today is the beginning of the Olympics.
Hell yeah.
So the Olympic opening ceremony is this evening. So by the time this episode comes out, you'll need to go back and rewatch it. But hopefully you'll have watched a lot of what's taken place over the course of a couple weeks of competition. Yeah. Another weapon is your voice, right? Like who in your mind is like one of the best singers of all time? Like
probably the lady we listened to last weekend who sang the national anthem.
Shut the fuck up.
Top 3. The one who sounded like a fucking dying cat.
Okay, all right.
No, I would say
just name a few. I mean,
I've thrown on Whitney Houston.
Okay,
and
that's
I've
a great one.
Teared up. Like I've watched her YouTube performances.
Yeah,
I think
that's good.
Beyonce in
right.
Dreamgirls. I remember watching that when I was a kid.
Specifically in Dreamgirls.
Well, just like I mean, she's obviously amazing in whatever she touches musically, but in Dreamgirls, that was specifically like big voice Beyonce. She like power. But Dreamgirls was like a film of power ballads. Yeah. Jennifer Hudson, Beyonce. I remember watching that and showing my mom clips like, yo, you gotta hear the song Listen by Beyonce. Like, listen to the song here in my heart. So I would go Beyonce, Whitney Houston, and then
these are great guesses.
Top three. I mean, Louis Capaldi for me right now is like I'm on a Louis Capaldi.
Okay,
bender.
Sad white boy stuff. I get it.
Yeah.
Well,
but big voice.
You've forgotten legendary French Canadian Celine Dion, who I think many would say is like one of the greatest singers of all time.
Yeah, many would say that for sure.
So, have you been like keeping up with Celine Dion at all since the Titanic?
I know that she got a debilitating disease, like a stiffening syndrome or something.
Yeah, so I'm here to break down the full report. Yeah. So, some amazing news, my friends. Celine Dion is set to perform tonight at the Olympic opening ceremony.
Wow.
Which will be really like her first, I don't know if I was going to say live, but you know how TV works. Like not everything's live.
And we should say we're recording this on July 26th.
Exactly.
So tonight.
Yes.
Tonight when we're actually talking. Yeah.
Yes. Tonight. Presently.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she is performing tonight, and this will be like a big performance for her because I think it's like one of her first public performances in years. So recently a documentary came out on Prime, which I implore you all to watch. It's called I Am Celine Dion. It's like an hour and a half long. And it really journeys her story of like, well, so it opens with an old video of her, probably like a teenager.
Yeah.
Being like, she wants to be a star and her dream is to sing her whole life. And so then obviously you can't live under a rock. Like, come on. We all know Celine Dion. We all know the Titanic. I hear that I don't even know what instrument that is in the beginning of the song. Dun, 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 dun. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm like on the Titanic and I'm seeing the sunset.
I think it's a flute maybe. Like,
yeah, it's something like that.
It sounds like a high pitch, maybe a piccolo.
Something. We should just ask Celine. So,
maybe,
So anyways, like throughout the documentary, first of all, she's just like a cool person, a nice, cool person. She was born in Quebec, so she's French Canadian. So she speaks French, English. Honestly, she might speak more. Who knows? Because she just seems like a lady with like so much class and intelligence.
Yeah.
And every time she got out of the car with the driver and every time like her health team, it was like, thank you so much. Like so polite, just a wonderful lady.
Yeah.
And also it showed a lot of her performances in the past. And you really get like, whoa, like she's pretty incredible. And she calls her voice like that's her instrument, which I would totally agree because when you hear some of her music and watch this documentary, or if you've been lucky to see her in concert. I know my mom actually saw Celine Dion in concert.
Yeah.
Which, like, I'm kind of jealous of.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, she is just, like, a total powerhouse. So you watch all that, and then you know that I think, like, she basically disappeared, like, several years ago.
Yeah.
Because of stiff person syndrome. So stiff person syndrome, first of all, is like an awful name.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know what it is just by the title, but it's got to be like one of the worst names.
Is that the medical term?
Yes.
For stiff person? Because usually...
so it's really, really rare.
Yeah.
It's like extremely like 1 in like millions are going to get this neurological disorder.
Yeah.
So, and that's what it is. It's a neurological disorder that basically causes your body to just like totally cramp up and you just kind of get like locked into place. So she said around like 17 years ago is when she first started to experience this syndrome, but it wasn't as advanced as it is today. Like she said that she noticed it just doing like singing exercises. Like, you know, when you exercise your voice, she had a really good visual for it where it's like your voice is like elastic. And as you're exercising it, I mean, just like any muscle, you should be able to, if you're trying to hit high notes, you should be able to get higher and higher as you kind of are just loosening up. That's kind of when she was noticing like there's something not going right here.
The
like,
first time you notice that has to be scary as shit.
Yeah,
if you're just
especially when
your
that's like that's your career, and that's like everybody knows you as like the voice. Like,
and this is before the show. She's the OG, the voice.
Basically, yeah, exactly. So it eventually progressed and got so bad that like she just couldn't even walk.
Yeah.
And you just really watch, like you see how much she misses singing and she really misses the people so much, like just the crowds. And she said that it was really hard for her to sing because her lungs are fine, but like literally she's stiff and like her ribs and chest, like they won't expand really to let her vocals
so
out.
It's just filling up. It's like instead of filling up air into a balloon, it's like filling it into a plastic box or something.
Like there's just no room. And it was just crazy because in the movie, and I really think everybody should watch it because what I'm saying to you now, like, yes, I'm telling you almost everything that happens, but it's something that you need to see for yourself because you watch her have like a serious, they call it like a crisis, like a serious episode of stiff person syndrome. And it was insane. She completely like lost all control, like could not speak, could not do anything, like totally locked up. Her team had to like pick her up and like carry her and like put her, and the whole time she's conscious though. Like it's like she's like saw Medusa and is like trapped in a stone statue. Like she quite literally like could not move, but her eyes are like very alert. And so her team is like talking to her, you know, trying to get her to just do little things like move a pinky. Can you squeeze? Like, so they could tell like she's very conscious. She's alert. She just like literally can't open her mouth. She can't move her feet, nothing. So she has this like insane crisis that was just like so horrifying to watch. And then like eventually, you know, I don't know how long she comes out of it and she's like talking about, you know, how embarrassing that is. And yeah, it was just a really incredible documentary.
Yeah. It sounds like fucking does she experience any of the symptoms on a lower scale when she's not having the full-blown attacks? Or is it like it's 0 to 100?
It can go 0 to 100, but I think just in general, like, yeah, like not being able to hit certain notes like she could before. I know like her feet and like hands like kind of cramp up and that's like just more smaller things. And then it can get into like full blown crisis. Like she's just like locked up, can't move. So the fact that she is about to perform tonight for the Olympics is like just the most heroic, incredible thing.
I mean, yeah, because she's risking a lockup in front of millions and millions of people. And I know nothing about the medical side of this syndrome, but I have to imagine that increased stress and anxiety only increases the chance of something like that happening.
Yes. So not only is she she's going to be performing actually with Lady Gaga. So another legend. They're going to be performing La Vie en Rose. Is it Rosé?
I don't know. We could say it's Rosé. Rosé
we have
all
a French
day.
woman in this building that we're in right now. And we need
Is there an accent over the E?
It's Not in my notes, but I could have just been lazy.
If there is, then it's probably Rosé.
Not put that.
We could say Rosé. It's
Who
Ricky
knows?
Rosé.
I don't know, but Lady Gaga and Celine Dion are about to perform together tonight to open the Olympics tonight, July 26th. So yeah, it's going to be crazy, but she also is signing a deal with Resort Worlds for a Las Vegas residency. So
how do you do that with stiff person syndrome?
So here's the thing, like throughout the documentary, her determination was like nothing I'd ever seen before. Like she was so like her love for singing, and you saw it in the very opening scene when she's like a little girl. And then the closing scene after you see this like insane lockup, it's her being like, I will sing again. Like, you mark my words, like, I will sing again.
Yeah.
And so you watch this whole documentary and you're like, this just sucks to happen to such a cool woman, but also, whoa, like her determination is just like remarkable.
Yeah. I'm just imagining if I was Lady Gaga and I'm performing with Celine Dion and Celine Dion turns to me in the green room before they go out for the performance and she's like, look, I hope everything goes well tonight, but at any moment during the performance, I could just lock up and fall backwards completely. So you have to carry the entire show in front of millions of people. And I'm just like,
Gaga could do that.
Okay. Yeah, she could do that. I would be like, okay. I would just be constantly, I would do the performance. I would be figuring out ways to get near Celine Dion just so I could catch her as she's falling backwards. Yeah, you work it into the act. Like as she's falling backwards, you do it like a dance dip. Like you're dipping her to the ground and you bring her back up for the rest of the performance. You're sort of moving Celine Dion around like a doll, and Lady Gaga's just whispering in her ear like, don't worry, I got you.
I'm not worried about her because just the determination I saw in her eyes. Like, if she says she's ready to go for this performance, she's fucking ready. Because she also mentioned that in the past, you know, as this was occurring over these 17 years, like, she was still performing and stuff. And, you know, she really was, like, tired of lying. Because there were a lot of times where she mentioned like
lying down from stiff person syndrome. both lying and lying down.
Because she mentioned that there were times where like, yes, she had to like go get a wardrobe change and then like just didn't come back, or was saying she got sick. And it was actually this syndrome that's just been like plaguing her existence. So it's incredible that she's coming back. She's in the final stages of negotiating for this residency. It's not intended to be like as long as some of the ones she's done previously. But yeah, I mean, it's really an incredible story, but you were right in assuming that like, yes, kind of risky business.
Yeah.
So a doctor has actually kind of weighed in here. And so Dr. Pavan Tanaka, a stiff person syndrome specialist in Cleveland, says like he can't speak specifically to Celine's situation, but believes that like her performing is an encouraging sign, but there's also like a lot of cautions to be taken here. Basically, these muscle spasms can be triggered by stress, temperature, loud noises, like basically everything.
Living in New York during the summer or any city.
Everything that occurs when you're like live on stage performing, stress, your body gets hot, temperature, and loud noises. So yeah, really like not ideal. So she's obviously must be working like really hard to maintain just like kind of, I guess, muscle relaxation.
She's working really hard not to get hard.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Hard as a rock, like totally bricked up.
She would be
in a not a good way.
Yeah, she would be a good spokesperson for Cialis or Viagra. Like, don't be like me. Don't get stiff in all the wrong places. You want to get stiff in the right place.
Yes.
I'm Celine Dion, sufferer of stiff person syndrome, and I'm trying to give you the stiffest member possible.
Yeah. So, I mean, basically we don't know. We're just mere viewers of this, but I just wanted to like give a big shout out to Celine Dion because she's really back.
Yeah.
And I just like seeing people that are good at what they do and also nice people.
Yeah.
And get to do what they do best.
I hope she fucking kills it at the anthem and that nothing happens.
I wonder, like, what though is like a worse name than stiff person syndrome? What's some other ones like?
Probably soft person syndrome. If your body just turned into like a puddle of mush. I'd rather have stiff person syndrome. Yeah, if your body just goes like you just like melt down like the Wicked Witch of the West every like 2 times a week. You're just like and you're just like in a puddle on the ground.
I'm just let me see.
Maybe gaping asshole syndrome.
Oh,
you just can't hold poop in because everything just falls out.
Don't talk about me like that.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to mention your medical diagnosis. I was going to keep that under wraps.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be contagious because I had some stuff fall out of me last night too after the omakase.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I honestly I can't see any. I think stiff person syndrome might be the worst. I'm looking for the people. I see nothing. Somebody tell me, like, is there another terrible syndrome out there? This has to be the worst name for something.
So
it's like, honestly, like, keep my shit under wraps. Like, you know how there's like Munchausen's like syndrome, and that's like Gypsy Rose and her mom.
Yeah.
But it's like you probably had to Google what that was, right? Like stiff person syndrome, it's like all her business is out there just with that title.
So there's a list of medical conditions that people say have funny names.
Oh, okay. Yeah, please.
So there's werewolf syndrome.
Oh, okay.
Which is scientifically known as hypertrichosis.
When you get a lot of hair.
Genetic condition causes excessive hair growth. There is walking corpse syndrome, which sounds a lot like the stiff syndrome. It says also known as Cotard syndrome. The neuropsychological disorder causes people. Oh, so it's psychological. You believe you're dead or soulless if you have walking corpse syndrome. You think.
I think there's a lot of people in New York that have that.
No, there's a different. They actually don't have a soul in New York. This is people that think they don't have a soul, and
they're both here.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, statistically, if you have a city with 8 million people, there's some people with walking corpses. Like, could you imagine just going through life thinking that you're like Casper, like you're just like a fucking ghost walking around, and people are acknowledging you, or maybe they're not. Maybe no one's acknowledging you. Maybe you are a ghost. Maybe no one believes you, and that's, you know.
I think there are ghosts.
You can only talk to other
around,
ghosts.
I guess.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Not really. I've never had like a ghost encounter, you know? So how can I believe in something that I've not even experienced? Like, I'd be cool with an encounter. I don't think I'm open to those things. So the supernatural people out there, they say you have to be like open to like experiencing supernatural shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've been waiting to get beamed up. I've been waiting. I'm open.
You set an alarm every day, you told me, for 4 p.m. to get beamed up. Wherever you are,
yes,
you'll just stop and look up to the sky.
I'm ready. I've never experienced anything like that. I think the world is more exciting imagining these things, you know? So I'd like to believe that ghosts exist, aliens, like all types of paranormal stuff. I think that makes the world more fun, but I'm really not sure.
Yeah.
I have had no encounters. What about you?
No, I've never had anything, not even a weird alien dream where I thought maybe I could have been abducted. Maybe now that I'm talking about it, I'll have an abduction dream tonight. But I've never had anything where I go, oh, that could have been an alien or a ghost or anything like that. It's always just been like when I remember those moments when you're a kid and you shut off the lights in your basement and you sprint up to the top of the steps as fast as you fucking can. But there's a moment, and I would want to test myself. Sometimes I would shut off the lights and to prove to myself there was nothing there before I sprint like a little bitch up the steps. I look into the darkness as like I'm testing whatever's there, the ghosts, the ghouls, the demons. And then your mind starts to create shit. So I think I see an outline of some satanic demon in the darkness. And I'm like, oh God, fuck. And then I go eat a Lunchable and, you know, fucking I just tempt demon for a little bit, and then I run up like a
I
little
feel like
pussy.
that too sometimes. The only time I get paranoid, and it's not often, because I mean, I love horror movies. I love watching things that give me adrenaline and make me feel scared for like a moment. I've always felt at peace, like, with the afterlife. So
Yeah.
maybe that's one thing, like, that I just don't even care if there's a ghost around. Like, there could have been, but then I also, like, have cats, so I blame everything on my cats. I'm like, oh, that noise, that was my cat, like, whatever. But the only time,
until the day it's not.
sometimes I get scared in the shower, like.
What do you get scared of? Is it like the psycho attack? Some guy's gonna
like
come in
somebody's
and stab you?
gonna like just be outside of the shower curtain and like that would be like the worst way I could die, is to be like stabbed in the shower.
I think the worst way to die would be,
well, there's a lot of worser ways, but
in the
for
shower,
me,
in the shower would be, you think there's someone about to attack you in the shower. You freak out, you open the shower curtain, you slip, you hit your head, and there was no one actually there, and you're just bleeding out going, fuck, what the fuck?
So, you know, I worry also, especially now. I mean, even actually, I remember being a kid and feeling like that. Like when I was home alone and would shower, I'd be like, what was that? I'd hear like, it was probably actually my cat, or, you know, something outside, or like the water pump or something. You just hear something in the house, but I'd be like, what was that?
Oh yeah.
And then I'm like peeking my head like out of the shower curtain.
Yeah.
I'm like, the fuck was that? And then I just go back to showering and hope for the best. But that's about as paranormal as it gets in my life.
I would stare at the bushes in my backyard. I also had I should say, to preface this, I had someone break into my house as a group of people when I was in 7th grade, maybe.
Oh, okay.
And it was right before we got home.
Yeah, that can trigger some things.
And they were literally like, they went out the back door, like pretty much right before we opened the front door. Mm-hmm. And there was a moment where I was walking up to the house. We were coming back from a family barbecue, and I was the first one at the door. And usually I would just, you know, like a little kid, you try to open the door, even though you don't have the keys. I'm just like, oh, I want to, you know, see if it's open. And I touched the door, and it just fell backwards into the hallway. And I looked back at my parents. I was like, what the fuck? And then my mom started screaming like, get away from the door, get away from the door. And then my dad calls the cops, and then they come into the house. They check it. There's, you know, laptops gone. They stole a bunch of my mom's fake costume jewelry, because my mom doesn't actually.
That shit was real.
She had her engagement ring, which is basically the only piece of real jewelry she has, and then she has a bunch of knockoff jewelry. So they took that jewelry.
Your mom was like, I knew buying that cheap shit would come in handy.
Yeah, there's just like a group of robbers in Queens that are like, fuck this fake shit. What the fuck
like
is
plastic.
this? Yeah, they bring it to the pawn shop, and the guy's like, yeah, this is silicone.
Definitely turn your skin green.
Yeah, don't wear this. I wouldn't touch. But yeah, my mom had all that, and then after that break-in, I would. Especially when my parents were gone, if we had a babysitter, we were old enough to stay at home after a certain point by ourselves with me and my brothers. I would stare into the backyard and see the bushes waving, and I would convince myself that there was going to be some guy in a black
Michael
suit.
Myers.
Not even a Michael Myers,
just like
some
standing.
guy just like in a fucking like a black hoodie coming out of the bushes in the backyard. Like I would always look at the windows out into the backyard when I walked across them at night, because I would convince myself I was going to catch someone in the act trying to sneak in.
I don't think they would have fucked with you guys. 3 boys.
We were young though.
I know, but I mean, that's still not a party I'm trying to break up. You know what I'm saying? Like 3 boys, they might beat the shit out of me.
Well, you could with a samurai sword, though.
That's true.
If you had your 2 samurai swords and you were walking, if I saw you walking through my backyard
in the bushes,
and I'm like, oh, it's just a slender girl in a black robe, and then all of a sudden you go sing, and then you just start fucking doing all this shit with the swords, I would be freaked out. That would intimidate me.
Yeah.
I did have a thought on speaking of ghosts and like horror shit.
Cool.
Celine Dion having the stiff person syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
if for whatever reason she had to stop singing completely, she could always be a corpse in a horror movie because she would always get that role if she had stiff person syndrome.
That's true.
And she just was like, all right, let me just trigger the stiff person syndrome. And some guy comes in and raises the heat. And then another person's like screaming in her face, trying to cause stress. And then all of a sudden she's like, oh, it's coming. And then they're like, all right, roll camera. And then they get like an actual corpse. That's just, you know, what
that's
I am.
Just you.
I'm just trying to think of options. Hire me, Celine, as your manager. I'll get you.
We just don't want her to be unemployed.
Celine Dion. If you hire me as your manager, I was looking over here. Like, there's cameras.
There's no
Celine Dion.
Celine's like he can't even. He doesn't even know where the cameras are.
I will get you an extra role as a corpse in Saw 7 if you hire me as your manager. I promise you that.
Celine said, "Fuck that. I'm getting a Las Vegas residency, baby. Like, I'm singing.
She's both. Singing. Be versatile.
Because she's my lady."
That's beautiful.
Yeah. I can't twist the words because it's a very heterosexual song. So I kind of fucked up by saying she's my lady.
If I say it, does it make more sense? And you are my man.
There we go. That's a bop of a song. After I went on this Celine Dion, I was on a Celine Dion vibe last night, and I was blasting that song, which is actually, she did not write that song. Yeah, another woman named Jennifer something, who actually sings that song very well, but it just didn't do well in the US. And then Celine came and sang, just covered it. And it exploded in the U.S.
That's weird because usually it's people that the U.S. will take things overseas.
The U.S.
and then bring them to the U.S.
Well, that's the thing, though, is that Celine is not an American. So we just love Celine. We basically adopted her.
Yeah.
She's just an American because we were like, oh, we like that French Canadian lady with big vocals. She's ours now.
If you're Celine Dion, and you're going to a bunch of just bullshit cocktail parties and just rich person events when you're at Celine Dion's level, do you think she's ever used stiff person syndrome as an out from a super boring conversation where she's just talking? Because it is a good out to have because everyone knows now if you're at a cocktail party and some guy's just like, and then, after I was a music manager for 30 years, then I started selling sheets. And, I realized that I really love thread counts. And you're just like, fuck, I'm going to kill myself if I don't end this conversation right now. And she's like, oh, there goes my right leg. It's happening.
There it goes.
Oh, I gotta, bye, Bill. And then you just get the fuck out of there.
I don't think people would ever even think to waste Celine's time with a conversation like that. But I'm going to just say that no, I don't think she's ever used it as an excuse to get out of. She just doesn't strike. She just is the most determined person. That's what I got out of the documentary. She's just no bullshit. There's also this scene that's gone viral from the documentary where she talks about wearing shoes and how she wears the shoes. The heels do not wear her, okay? She wears the heels do not wear her. She says she's worn shoes that she's had to scrunch her toes into because they didn't have her size. And she would go to, heel shopping or whatever, and they would be like, oh, what's your size? And she'd be like, no, bitch, what sizes do you have? Because I am going to wear those fucking heels, whether they fit or not. So that is the level of determination that we're dealing with here.
If Celine Dion looked me in the eyes and said, no, bitch, give me what the fuck you have, I would get stiff member syndrome.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yes, ma'am.
Yes,
whatever you
ma'am.
want, I'm just going to tuck this in real quick, and then I'm going to go get you those heels, and then if you want, I'll let you step on me
Yeah.
And you could,
you can try out the heels.
Yes, just walk over my back instead of
Exactly.
walking on the floor if that's what you want.
Maybe
Miss
that's
Dion.
what'll happen at the meet and greet of her Vegas residency.
Yeah. And then that's a moment where if I go up to her and say something like that, then she would use the out for like the
that's
fake
the first
sip.
time she's ever
someone
used
get me away
it.
from this fucking creep. It is. She's a better person than me if she doesn't use it as an out, because I would use it in any situation.
She does. Like, she just seems like such a cool, like relatable, somehow relatable. I don't know
I believe
how.
it, but she's a better person than me then, because I would use it anytime I wanted to get out of something.
I mean, the bar for like being a better person than you is not exactly that high.
It's here, and then it's here for good person. I don't even know if that holds up. I'm putting my fingers out if you're listening to this, but basically, I'm not a good person, is what I'm trying to say. The bar is not that high.
It's pretty low.
Yeah, if I was waiting in line for a benefit for people with special needs and I thought the line was too long, I would have my right leg starting to lock up and be like, someone, oh God, it's happening. Someone get me to the front of the line so I can get a drink. Oh God. Oh, the left one. Oh. Yeah. So Celine Dion probably doesn't do that shit, but
Celine's rocking it. She was seen out earlier today in Paris. She looked pumped, ready to go. The crowd outside of her hotel was just going wild. They're so happy for her to be back. She was decked out in a full Dior tracksuit that I'm very jealous of. She looked comfortable. She looked ready to fucking go. So,
fuck yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to tune in tonight. And by the time you listen to this, if you did not hear or see Celine, go watch. I mean, stop what you're doing.
I'm definitely going to watch.
And go Team USA.
USA.
USA. USA. USA. It's the only time I'm like so patriotic.
Come on.
I'm ready. I'm ready to see Sha'Carri Richardson. I'm ready to see Katie Ledecky. I'm ready. We're about to like go so hard.
There is something beautiful and just like something so freeing about being one of those people who paints your face the American flag and you're just on a bus full of people to like a fucking Olympics game or a World Cup game and everyone's just like, let's fucking come on, and you're chugging beers at 7 a.m.
They're wearing the game's
Uncle
Sam top hat. They gotta wear. There's like a bald eagle on their shoulder.
Yeah, exactly. So, some guy, you're just dressed. He's wearing not just like George Washington, but like the entire Washington monument. Like, he's dressed as the monument.
Okay.
Some guy has like
you could do that. That's like a good costume idea for if you have like 4 friends.
Yeah. Oh, Mount Rushmore. That's what I meant. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, I knew what you meant somehow, even though that's not what level. You said. But I knew what you meant because I was like, oh, that's like actually a pretty good costume for a group of roommates.
Yeah.
To just paint themselves like PETA in the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
You need to get like PETA leveled paint skill. And be like Abraham. Who the fuck else is on that? It's Abraham and George.
It's George, Honest Abe. And let me guess. Can I guess? Thomas Jefferson?
Hold on. I haven't even like Google's not it for me today.
Abraham Lincoln.
Okay, here we go.
Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and is it
I don't feel like you're gonna get this one.
What's his name? The guy who makes the chicken, Popeyes. General General
KFC.
The general, who's the general guy? General, he has like a name.
General
that
So's?
Guy, the General KFC.
General So's.
Yeah, General Popsy, KFC Popeyes.
So you were right about Thomas Jefferson.
Okay.
He was the 3rd president of the United States. People know that. And Theodore Roosevelt is the other man.
Yeah.
And you know what I like about that is that they put his glasses they carved his glasses into the mountain.
How has that not been desecrated? You'd think someone would climb up there.
How does that shit come about, Zach? Is that like how? When I see shit like that, I'm like, how did somebody have the vision? You know, like they're working with a piece of paper and then they look up at this fucking massive rock.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm going to make that.
takes
I
probably
don't
over
understand.
a decade. It's like Michelangelo with the Sistine Chapel.
But it also
he was just
feels
hanging
like
from his back
one
for a decade,
wrong move
literally
and everything is fucked.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand how they did that. That should be like the fucking ninth wonder of the world.
Yeah. You're just working on the I was gonna say Washington Monument again. Mount Rushmore.
What the fuck?
Why does my brain just go to the monument? You're working on Mount Rushmore, and your boss checks in with you at the end of the day, and you're the sculptor.
Washington Monument is so funny too, because it's just like it's like the most boring. It's just like a stick,
a guy
in the
sitting.
Air. And no, is the Washington Monument is like
you're right. The guy sitting is Abe Lincoln, the Lincoln Memorial.
Yeah. The Washington Monument is just like I don't even know how to describe it, like this most slender pyramid of all time.
Yeah. I was gonna say, imagine you're working on the Mount Rushmore. Almost said it again. I'm gonna get it right without a pause. One of these, one by the end of this episode, I will get it. You're working on Mount Rushmore, and you're the sculptor. And then at the end of the day, you have to check in with your boss, and your boss like, yeah, how's it going? You know, it was pretty hot out there today, but I see you working hard. And you go to your boss, and you're just like, listen, Abe Lincoln's not going to have a nose. I went a little bit too hard on the left nostril, and the whole fucking shit just slid down the mountain.
So fucked.
And even if you wanted him to have a nose, we can't fucking do shit unless we pick another mountain.
We're going to need to get a prosthetic in.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, somebody go cut. I think you could get a prosthetic nose from a donor rock.
Yeah.
And then just like bring in the crane.
Yeah.
Just
the cranes that didn't exist at the time when they were building it.
Wait, did the cranes not exist?
I don't even fucking know. They
probably sound
did.
Like ridiculous right now, but I just can't even. I don't know. I mean, seems like a waste of time, honestly. But congrats to those artists. Congrats to the
artists. Congrats to
Celine Dion.
That's how confident we are. We're already saying congrats.
I'm saying congrats
tonight.
Because I'm not worried. I saw the look. Like, honestly, her determination, I think if she wanted to beat Sha'Carri Richardson at track, she could.
Yeah.
You know, that's how fucking determined she was. Like, she could go up in any sport in the Olympics, and she's coming out with gold medals, okay?
She just goes stiff in the middle of the race, and then when she falls over, she trips Sha'Carri Richardson, and then she just pulls herself to the finish line as My Heart Will Go On is playing.
Yeah.
That should be the main event of the Summer Olympics, I think.
Gold medals all around for Celine.
Well, speaking of just summer events and summer trends,
okay.
I don't know if you heard, but KAMALA is BRAT.
Yes, I did hear. I'm a pop culture girly.
So you know what BRAT is already.
I don't actually know that much about BRAT. I just know that it's affiliated with Charlie XCX. Mm-hmm.
So let's get into it, because I was just enlightened this morning when I was looking into it, when I saw the memes. So this is from The Guardian, and it says, KAMALA is BRAT. The Harris campaign goes lime green to embrace the meme of the summer. After Kamala Harris announced her bid for president, she reportedly raised a record-breaking $81 million of donations in just one day. Money.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, yeah. That's worth at least five monies right there. That's 5 monies right there.
I'm stiffening up. That was just inappropriate.
So that means it was a little bit sensual for you then, the burp ASMR. That's something that you're into if it's causing the stiffness.
Yeah. I'm stiff in all the wrong places.
Okay. Well, I'll try not to burp so the blood could go back to your brain.
I'll
try not to burp for the rest of the podcast.
Thank you.
After Kamala Harris announced her bid for president, she reportedly raised a record-breaking $81 million in donations in one day, but her most culturally powerful endorsement may have come from a single tweet, as nearly all Democrats rallied behind the vice president, offering support in tweets and TV interviews. A perhaps unlikely voice weighed in. The British pop singer Charlie XCX, who tweeted, quote,
boom, clap.
Kamala is BRAT.
She is. So, and if you don't know Charlie XCX, you definitely have heard the song, boom, clap, the sound of my heart, beat goes on and on and boom, clap. That song was like took over the universe back in 2013, 14.
I'm glad Charlie XCX, and we'll get back into the Kamala shit, but I'm glad Charlie XCX is having a moment this summer because she's an OG festival hoe. Like, she's been on the circuit
she's a British
for a
girly.
long time.
She's a British girly that is an attractive British girly. She's not botched up, you know?
No, yeah. She must be drinking different water than every other girl in the UK. But whatever she was doing,
Charlie XCX.
It's working.
I'm a fan. I genuinely am a fan.
Yeah.
I've never seen Charlie XCX live, but I would. And yeah, I'm a big fan of like just her whole vibe. She's dope. Definitely a creative artist.
I saw her at Lollapalooza live, and she had an unbelievable set.
Cool.
So yes, Charlie XCX says Kamala is brat on Twitter. And then that gets the ball rolling. Guardian goes on. They say that it's super high praise from the musician who released her album, also titled Brat, last month. So that's where it's from. Charlie XCX's album is called Brat. Brat is not just a name, though, but a lifestyle. One inspired by naughty excess and rave culture. The archetypal...
Love that.
Exactly. Naughty excess, baby. The archetypal brat, Charlie explained on TikTok, is, quote, just like that girl who is a little messy and likes to party. Maybe says some dumb things sometimes, who feels herself, but then also maybe has a breakdown, but kind of parties through it.
So sounds like me.
So that is you. I would say yes. You are brat.
Sounds like me every weekend.
but I would say Kamala.
That's whatever.
Yeah, I'm just like her head just memed on a camel. Going, I've got so much water in my humps.
Yeah.
Humps 2024. Get
Hell
your humps on. Maybe that'll be the next viral meme.
Hump Day is a big day for her.
Hump Day Kamala.
Yeah.
Hump Day Kamala. But Kamala, so my thing is that if you go by Charlie XCX's definition of being a brat, and Kamala is brat, I am going to need to see some more brat behavior from Kamala before she just fully embraces the brat label. I mean, I want to see her snort some lines. I want to see her send nudes to Putin. Like, I want some fucking
she's sending
wild
nudes,
ass brat shit.
Well, she's a little bit of reformed, right? Because she is a married woman.
Mm-hmm.
She's a loyal married woman. And, I doubt she does drugs, but I do think she has some beverages.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she definitely drinks. She is, all I see of Kamala is her laughing and having a good time. There's nothing I've loved more than watching the TikToks of her just actually laughing. And she's just having the best time in every interview, everything. So I feel good. I feel very bratty. I feel joyful.
Yeah.
Just with that.
Yeah. Well, so it goes on to say that the Brat Summer Essentials. Do you want to know what the Brat Summer Essentials are?
A fanny pack. That should be on there.
It could go in there.
Maybe the fanny pack is what holds the Brat Summer Essentials.
Okay. So Brat Summer Essentials, according to Charlie, are, quote, a pack of cigs.
Okay.
A Bic lighter.
Yeah, duh.
And a strappy top with no bra.
Yeah, okay.
So
we walk past these brats.
Politics aside, think whatever you want of Kamala. If Kamala is going to change the Twitter banner to Kamala is brat, I want to see that bitch tits out, strappy bra, Bic lighter. I want to see her like that Ben Affleck meme where he's just like so fucking hungover and depressed from probably a night of drinking and partying, and he's just on his stoop in Soho, just fucking just lighting a cig and just smoking it into the universe. I want to see Kamala just lighting up in public at brunch and just downing fucking bottomless mimosas.
I want to see that too, but I fear that middle America honestly might go fully stiff in a bad way.
Yeah.
Like, they might lock up. They might, I simply feel like middle America and a lot of really heavy consumers of Fox News or, no judgment. I'm just saying you might go insane if you see Kamala in spaghetti straps, no bra. Like, I think they might lose their fucking mind.
Yeah. Or, you're watching TV and you go,
whoa.
I think I'm gonna,
A lot of the men are kind of changing their thoughts because they're like, you know what? She is kind of attractive.
I'm seeing Kamala in that spaghetti strap.
That silk press is fucking laid.
Yeah,
okay?
and
looks good.
I don't even know what accent this is right now. I was trying to do like a sultry
That's your
southern
I'm
accent.
horny accent.
Yeah, so if I'm I'm trying to like get in. If I'm let's say a Midwest dad that's watching the news and I see Kamala Harris in a spaghetti a strappy
no,
white
that's
top
how she should
with
tour.
no bra.
You know how they go around and they tour to like get, because like she might need more support in Middle America. So she shows up for her like her speech in Oklahoma. And she shows up with like a trucker hat on, spaghetti straps, like no bra, mini skirt, clunky shoes, and like a pack of Camel Crushes.
Yeah. And look, I think, no matter where you stand on the political spectrum,
you want to see
just
that.
seeing Kamala's nips is something we all want to witness. We want to see her out on stage, just slanging those things.
I'd look.
And
I'd definitely look.
And, if you're, even if you don't fall into the, let's say you're Republican, you wouldn't vote for Kamala, and you see her on stage and you're like, no shot in hell, I'm voting for that hoe. And then you see her on TV one night.
And then boom, clap comes on. I mean, come on.
And then
you're sold.
And then
you're an early voter all of a sudden.
There's a presidential debate between her and Trump, but they have to have it on an HBO after hours because she's not wearing a bra.
Late night,
so it's just like
Comedy
just
Central.
free, just like slanging titties all over the place, and you're just sitting there in your chair.
I think that's a really surefire way to beat Trump, though, because that would be almost beating him at his own game.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't know what to do because he too would kind of like it.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, wait, I think you know what? She's got a point.
I mean,
I'm not so mad. Like,
I mean, there's not a straight man that can't be distracted by some good nip action for sure.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't even matter what the nip is attached to. Like they're
Joe Rogan.
if it's a nice, just a meaty elk nip like Joe Rogan.
No, it matters.
If you have a nice, you have a nice nip and you're zoomed in.
Fetish.
But what if you're zoomed in on the nip and you can't tell who it is?
I can tell.
Because let's be honest, there are some girls out there with some hairy nips, and if you're zoomed in and you see hair, it doesn't mean it's a man. And then you're like, oh, that's a nice nip, and you zoom out, and it's like, oh shit, that's a male nip.
We should create a PowerPoint. Well, Julie,
male or female
we need
nip.
our non-official producer that we don't have, but we would love to have. So subscribe, we would love to have that.
100%.
Breakingtakes.supercast.com.
Yes.
But yeah, we should have like a PowerPoint that we haven't seen with just nipples and see if we could pick, are these male nipples or these female nipples?
Yeah, male versus female nips.
I think I could do a pretty good job
of
getting it
picking,
right.
Okay.
Yeah. Like if we added 10, a slideshow of 10.
Should we, without telling each other, should we each take a photo of one of our nipples zoomed in and see if we know when it is on the PowerPoint?
Oh, that one's yours.
Yeah, exactly. And I would just be like, I got to use tricky lighting.
Yeah, you would have to. I feel like I could tell your nipple probably easier because you probably have little blonde hairs around them.
Oh yeah, and they're so dark. They're black as night. Yeah.
Your blonde hairs are black as night?
No, the actual nipple. It's blonde hair with just a space nip.
Okay, cool.
Just black.
That's very
it feels like
you're
you're staring into the stars.
Wow, I've never seen one of those.
Yeah, I call them the black holes because you get sucked in and you just can't stop looking at them.
I've never seen one of those.
Yeah, so it might be dangerous.
Kind of amazing.
It might be dangerous to put them in the PowerPoint, to be honest, because I wouldn't want to hypnotize you.
I'll definitely know it's yours. Also, it's the first black nipple, actually black.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, blackface is totally out of the question, but no one said anything about black nipples. So, I mean,
that's true.
I could do that to trick you. You never know.
Yeah. I'm very supportive of Kamala. I would say that I'm trying to be subjective here, not as a lesbian. I would say that Kamala is definitely like top 3 if she becomes president. Would be top 3 hottest president of all time. I'd say like for me personally, it would be number 1 because she would be, the only female president we've ever had.
Yeah.
But even subjectively, I think, top 3 for sure.
If you had to get freaky with any of the presidents, Obama?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Who wouldn't?
I was going to say.
He's just like he's smoking J's.
I mean,
and then I could like meet. I'm down to be with the whole family, actually. I would like to just infiltrate the Obama family.
Do you
so if I got to start with Barack, then that's just what I'll do.
Do you remember the famous video with Kanye West where it was Kanye West lying in bed with a bunch of wax figures, and it was like Taylor Swift, like hyper realistic wax figures of naked bodies.
I've clearly deleted this. Oh wait, I think
Taylor
I kind of know
naked.
What you're talking about, and it was weird. It was in the beginning of Kanye's like demise.
Taylor Swift, Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh man,
who else?
I don't need to really see either of them naked.
I'm just looking it up. Anna Wintour, George Bush. Fuck, like
why do we need to see that?
But just like a famous men and women spread out on a bed, all wax figures, but hyper realistic, naked, and then Kanye is there, and he's just lying in the middle. That's like you with the Obamas. Yeah, that's like you lying in bed, you're just smoking a cig, and there's like
that.
Obama's just naked as shit, just around you, and you're just like, look at what I've conquered.
Everybody needs like a comfort white girl lesbian, you know? And I'll just like a pet. I'll just live in the Obama house.
But it could be dangerous though, because if you overhear something that Obama doesn't want you to hear, you might drown in a puddle.
Seppuku or what's it called?
Seppuku, yeah.
Seppuku.
Do you remember the story of the Obama chef? There was a chef that worked for Obama on his like fucking, I think it was like his Virginia mansion or something. Yeah. And then the chef was found face down in like a 2-foot puddle.
It was suspicious.
And he knew how to swim. Apparently he was like a high school or college swimmer or something.
So now it's extra suspicious.
Exactly. And they're like, this dude, there's a wakeboard planted next to him or whatever. He's face down in a puddle. And then we're supposed to believe that he just, ended up like that. But a lot of people think, was Obama just like, slanging political secrets?
I don't know.
And then all of a sudden he overhears something, and then Obama didn't realize he was there. And then he just kind of clocks them, and then he makes a call and he goes,
"Sorry, pal.
Chef's got to go." That's a dangerous part of hooking up with the Obamas, is that you take that risk.
I'm not going to tell anybody. Your secrets are safe with me.
That's probably what the chef said.
Daddy Barack.
That's probably what the chef said.
Daddy Barack, no.
I think I might go. Who would I go if I was trying to, like, if I had to sleep with any of the presidents that have been currently elected?
Yeah. You don't even have that much to choose from, because the first like fucking 20
JFK,
are like, that's
JFK
the only
for the
option,
story,
right?
Because I think that would be an opportunity for a threesome with Marilyn Monroe.
Exactly.
And, all the sleuths he was hooking up with behind the scenes.
Marilyn, Jackie O.
Yeah, I'd have my own Kanye wax figure with the
that
Kennedys.
Sounds like it would be a good time.
And all of his just like his snow bunnies behind the scenes, just his lineup of women. I feel like I could definitely finesse something into that.
Yeah, there's not much to choose from, because like once you start going back further, they're all wearing like massive wigs, and like they look like pilgrims, and they have wooden teeth.
That could be kind of hot though.
Not for me.
You're doing like a historical pornographic.
Somebody's into it, just not me.
Yeah, you're gonna give me stiff member syndrome with those stiff wooden teeth you have in there.
Good.
And then you take out George Washington before he goes down. He takes out his wooden dentures.
They're not even wooden. Apparently, they're slave teeth, which is like Yeah, they don't teach you that in American schools because that would be showing racism, but they were teeth of slaves.
What?
Yes.
So he was.
I hate to tell everybody this, but
no, I mean, I could just be the one out of the loop.
The wooden teeth thing is a fabrication. They were teeth from slaves.
Let's see. According to George Washington's ledger on May 8th, 1784, he paid £6 and 2 shillings to Negroes for 9 teeth.
Yeah.
On account of the French dentist Dr. LeMay.
So there's literal receipts.
Yeah. But it's unbelievable that they could put them in back in the day.
Well,
I guess they just needed glue.
And it's still like a denture set. It was all gum in there. He's just popping it in and out.
So they were just teeth that looked like wood because obviously when you pull a tooth from someone, it starts to rot and, change colors.
I don't think anybody especially not the slaves. I don't think they had access to Colgate back then. So I don't think anybody's teeth looked that great.
Yeah, it's just like a very specifically like a master with very specific ways in which he's nice to you. So he makes his slaves stay out on the plantation.
Polishing each tooth.
He makes his slaves stay out on the plantation all day, just in the burning heat. And he's like, stay out there. You're not coming inside until you finish, boy. And then you get inside the house and he goes, all right, line up. Who wants some Colgate? And you're like, why can't you do this during the day?
It's for fucking George Washington.
Yeah. We're gonna try to sell the teeth out of your head, and we're gonna make some bucks. But that's pretty.
Yeah,
I mean that's dark.
It is dark. I'm glad I could inform you of this injustice that happened.
Should we do a quick "Am I the asshole" to lighten it up?
Yeah, to lighten up the mood,
just so we don't end on slave.
Yeah, so sorry. I mean, you got to educate the people.
Well, okay. So this is. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for making my bridesmaid wear a dress that makes her look fat?
Just off of that, I would say no.
No?
No.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I won't give my judgment yet.
Okay.
So I, 26 female, have always loved the aesthetics of the Regency era, and I wanted to incorporate it in my wedding. So I decided that my bridesmaids will wear empire waist dresses, like the ones in Bridgerton or Pride and Prejudice.
Jesus Christ.
So you have a visual?
I'm already mad, actually, because I'm like, those dresses are fucking massive, huge.
Okay.
Of course, they're going to make everybody look fat.
Yeah. That could be a point against the girl being an asshole. Like she's not an asshole because everyone's going to look fat anyway.
Seriously.
So who cares? So she says, yes, I like the empire waist dresses, like the ones in Bridgerton or Pride or Prejudice. Nearly all of my bridesmaids love this idea. However, one of my bridesmaids, 27 female, is very mad at me for insisting that they wear empire waist dresses. Mm-hmm. She claims that the dress looks unflattering on her due to her body proportions. She has broad shoulders, a large chest, large arms, a small waist, and thin legs. She claims that due to the high waistline and her large chest, her waist appears much larger than it actually is. She also says that the type of dress emphasizes her thick arms. She told me that those dresses make her look fat and triggered her body dysmorphia and insecurities. She asked me if she could modify her dress to define her figure, but I said all the bridesmaids had to wear the same dress and I didn't want her to stand out. She said I was being selfish and that I wasn't taking into account other people's body types. I said she was acting extremely entitled. It's my wedding and I shouldn't have to cater to her insecurities. Am I the asshole?
It's tough because I'm a little bit split because half of me feels like honestly bridesmaid dresses are pretty always ugly. Yeah. I mean, because as a bridesmaid, so I'm actually going to be a bridesmaid, but my friend is not making me wear a dress. I get to wear a suit, which because I would have been like, you're the asshole if she made me wear a dress.
Yeah.
But I will say most bridesmaids, it's like none of the dresses are ever like, you're never wearing a dress that you would have bought like on your own. You know, you're always like, you're subjected to the color that it has to be, and you might get to pick from like 10 different styles like within that color.
Yeah.
So it is kind of fucked up to be like, it has to be this style only. But so I'm kind of split on like, okay, I do think that's fucked up. First of all, I think it's weird that you want to do Bridgerton era. Like, we're not in the fucking colonial period, okay?
Yeah.
Like, can we not? Those dresses were insane because they're really tight on the top.
Yeah.
Most of the time, like back in the day, you're wearing like a corset. It takes you like 3 hours to get into it. And then it's like this puffy craziness from like the hips down.
Yeah.
So I'm like, first of all, I hope this wedding is taking place inside because they're going to be hot as fuck. And those dresses are kind of ugly, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm also like, it is just a wedding and it's like 2 hours of your life.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know.
I think she should lean into the being fat
definitely think
in the Bridgerton dress. So there's and I saw there's like this big thing in the news with the main girl in the most recent season of Bridgerton that had
Penelope.
that had a sex scene.
Yes.
And she's Nicola Coughlan, who was also in another series called Dairy Girls that I've watched.
Yep, she's Irish.
And so naturally I saw the headline and I go, all right, I got to check out this clip of Bridgerton.
It was great.
And she's, she's a
Titties
big
out.
girl. She's a big girl. She's whipping out her tits in the whatever style dress it is, in the Empire waist dress, the Bridgerton style dress.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was like, damn, she's fucking working it, This is giving me a little bit of that stiff member syndrome yet again. And I was like, all right, why, don't fight the dress. Like Celine Dion says, don't let the heels wear you. You wear the heels. Don't let the dress wear you. You wear the dress. So be fat, be gorgeous, be big, be round. And then if you happen to find a guy that night that's into you,
boost your titties up, I do recommend you do that.
Yeah.
Because like that literally will help. Anything you can do to like boost them up.
Yeah.
Because I understand.
Especially as someone who's big and you have a son. So I will say that, and I've hooked up with some bigger girls in the past, the thick queens, and I think as a guy, and I don't want to speak for all guys, but like for me, when I am in the bar and I'm just like looking at proportions, I go, okay, if the stomach is far in front of the boobs, then something looks off about it. But like if her boobs are like outweighing the stomach, that is like, that looks proportional. You like
big old bitties.
Yeah. Not even that, not that, but like in the Bridgerton dress, I think you should prop them up. So
as much as you can.
So
because the dress is round.
So your tits are further out than the stomach. That's what I'm saying. So like if you want to be good proportions in the dress, and that's just me,
that's just you offering
being
your
a
advice.
Fucking pig to, that's,
take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it. Fucking lean into the dress, prop those titties up, find a guy, do a Bridgerton role play.
Like have fun, get drunk. I feel weird saying this because like I just mentioned, I'm being allowed to wear a suit for my best friend's wedding, but that's because I have not worn a dress since I was like 17. I don't wear women's clothing.
Yeah.
It would have felt like, I'm not opposed to it. It just is like, I wouldn't be showing up as your best friend. Like I'd be showing up as like some girl in a dress, and that's like not me.
Yeah.
So I feel like just what's that word? Why am I hypocrite?
Hypocritical?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hyper too.
Mount Rushmore?
Yeah.
Washington Monument?
I feel like a Washington Monument anymore.
Yeah. You would feel like a Washington Monument standing there in a dress. You'd just feel like,
it'd be
weird.
Yeah. Exactly. So I do feel like just a bit of a hypocrite, but also if I wore dresses, I don't think I would care the type of dress. It's just kind of like, if that's what you want, like I'll show up, I'm going to have free alcohol and food. And then I can take it off. Like as soon as literally the pictures, the ceremony and the pictures are done, take it off.
Yeah.
And like go put on a different dress.
Find a guy and have a Bridgerton role play.
Yeah, find your Colin.
Talk in a British accent the entire wedding for no reason.
Yes, actually get into character.
Hello, good sir. Would you mind whipping out your member, please?
Yeah.
And I shall get it stiff. And then we can have sexual intercourse Bridgerton style, like the sex scene from season 4.
Yeah. That was on the bed, right?
It was on the bed.
Or was it on the... No,
I think it was on the couch.
There was also
It was on the couch, sir.
There was also the one that was... It took place inside the carriage.
Inside the carriage?
Like the horse-drawn buggy.
We can put a couch in the carriage, and then we can make sweet
That was just a little finger bang,
intercourse. You can put a finger in me, and I will put my fingers in you, and then we will come together
as one,
forming a bridge in Bridgerton.
In holy matrimony.
Yes, a bridge of Bridgerton, just anal finger love connecting as our souls bridge together. That is what I propose for tonight, good sir. And if I'm a guy, I just say room number. Write it down.
I'm ready.
Right now. I'm going to put it in my pocket, and I'll see you there in 45 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. So I'm a bit on the fence with this one. It's like the first one I've kind of been on the fence with, but
yeah, and she's going to be on the fence.
I think
tonight,
like both are valid, but
if the fence is code name for penis.
But yeah, I think both people are valid. I encourage her to just honestly try to let it go. Like, just have fun, get dressed up, really think about it as like a theater performance, and, take it off as soon as you can.
Yeah.
So
I agree. That's good advice.
I wish her the best.
Yeah.
And remember, boost those titties up.
Boost those titties up. Be brat.
Yes.
You're going to obviously have your tits propped up during the ceremony, but, be brat and go no bra after if you want, or the Sunday brunch for the wedding weekend. Fucking flash those nipperoonies and then be a brat, smoke a Marlboro Light, just fucking have that fanny pack with that big lighter.
The world is your oyster.
Yeah.
You can be Bridgerton one day, brat the next.
Yeah. When you're a brat, anything is possible.
That's right.
You can...
Brat 2024.
You can puke in a bush. You can launch a nuke.
Yeah.
You can bang a guy named Luke on a wedding weekend. You can play the flute.
Go to basketball at Duke.
You can, full scholarship, full ride, and just like the cock, the full ride, same thing on the wedding weekend. Basketballs and balls.
This is just a train wreck.
And you could do it on a train, too. Train wreck. Amy Schumer, thick girl, props her tits up. She does it in that movie. It. Yeah.
She does do that.
See? That's good advice. That's good advice. I'm looking at both cameras just to confirm we give good advice. So thank you guys for listening to this week's episode. We were all over the place.
We really were this time.
With Celine, with Brat.
Tune into Celine.
Boobs.
Tune into the Olympics.
Yeah.
Go USA or go whatever country you're listening from.
Yeah.
I just like people competing. It's just fun to watch.
If you're rooting for Japan and they don't win the event, you don't have to commit seppuku.
No.
It's not Shogun times. The year's not 1560. But if you do it, don't do it the first time. Don't miss, like we talked about early in the episode. Just get
right
yourself,
in the center.
Right in the center. Just fall into it. And make sure you have someone there, a friend, spouse, to just lop the head off real quick. So it's a traditional seppuku style. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. BreakingTakes.supercast.com for bonus episodes. The back catalog is growing. We just put another one out last week. Make sure you subscribe on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen, so that you'll always get the new episodes. There's one that just went up today, every Friday. And yeah, that's it. That's pretty much
just keep tuning in, keep following, keep liking, keep commenting.
Yeah.
I read some of the comments.
Yeah, so do I.
Not all. I mean, I do read most of them, but I don't like, it's not like my morning newspaper, you know? So it might take me a minute to like get back to you.
Love or hate, just say something. We'd rather you
just
say something. Just say it. Just say it with your chest and you leave a comment on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you're at. Because we're doing pretty decent with the views on the reels, and the downloads keep going up. But for whatever reason, the algorithm gods, the overlords, they want to see more comments before they open the gates to allow us to rise up in the podcast universe. So if you guys could help us out with some more comments, that
keeps what away.
And if you don't know what to say for this episode, just say Bridgerton titties. That's all you need to comment. Or tits up, whatever, you know.
Tits up, Brat Summer, baby.
Yeah. See you guys next time.
Yep. See ya.
Peace.